Hey guys, Horror Man back for another review. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at two different NECA Chucky figures that I just got in from a substantial NECA figure lot that I bought off of eBay. I actually got 10 different figures in this lot, and I'll be reviewing a few different ones hopefully this week and next week. So today we're going to start with both of these Chuckies, and we'll go ahead and start with the Child's Play 3 Chucky. Alright, so here is Chucky from Child's Play 3. Now, NECA at one time had a line called Cult Classics, and these were mid-2000s, and they made several different figures: Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, the main ones. But then they did figures like Lost Boys, Chucky, and various others, Tall Man. Really cool figures from different movies that they didn't really do like a whole line of just the one movie. They kind of just picked random characters. So it was basically like Movie Maniacs, but NECA Real Toys versions. So the first Chucky that they made is from Child's Play 3. Why they picked number 3, I'm not exactly sure. I do know that when Todd McFarlane put out his movie Maniacs, they were originally going to make Chucky in one of the older lines, but they couldn't get the hair to work out right, so they eventually made a Child's Play 2 figure. And I believe the original one that McFarlane was going to do was from Child's Play, so I don't know if NECA just wanted to kind of continue in the order that McFarlane started or what, but we got the Child's Play 3. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the details of Chucky. So of course the first thing we're going to look at is this amazing head sculpt, and I am very, very happy with this. I like that they did the more realistic type of hair, like doll hair. I think that's just so appropriate considering this would be like a little doll. He's kind of like this My Buddy take on a horror villain, so it's so classic 80s. But yeah, this expression's really good. You can see that brow kind of going across in this angry, distinct like vision of Chucky that a lot of us remember from the 80s. This definitely looks like one of the worst faces he could possibly make, but this is definitely Chucky. So I really like that they did this. He's got these nice crisp blue eyes. The detail is just so well done. If you could see it, there's little freckles like in his face, right on his cheeks. He's got these little eyebrows, and then if you can see, actually has like an inside of his mouth sculpted in there. You can see his little bit of his tongue in there, his teeth. So it's really, really nicely detailed. The ears are well done, and you can clearly tell it's not a person, it's definitely a doll. So I really, really like the sculpt on this. I think NECA's done a great job. So aside from the face sculpt, you can see a lot of really good details in Chucky's outfit. You can see his little good guys logo here going across his overalls, and he has various different little like tools and things like that. Just like whatever he had on his overalls from the Child's Play movie. And it's a little bit different with the sleeves, I believe, comparing to the original Child's Play, but I can't remember for sure. But you can see he's nice and clean. There's no blood, there's no damage. He's got these little cute red and white sneakers that he had in the movie, and he's even got these like cuffs that are rolled up from his pants bottom. So really, really nice details in here. And then even over to the back, you can see the straps are really nicely done. And then you can see like the little like kind of waist part here that stretches. Again, there's some more designs, like a little construction helmet, saw, hammer. So really cool designs on here. Very, very well done. Now, the one thing people have complained about have been the arms, like the length of the arms, and I completely agree that arms definitely look a little bit long, but when you get to the articulation, I'll show you why these long arms are actually good. So with these older NECA figures from the Cult Classics, one thing you're not going to see is a lot of leg articulation, so it's pretty much common amongst all the older NECA figures. So as far as articulation, his head can go 360 all the way around. It has a little bit of a tilt, so it gives it some really cool. He got some really good expression within that head tilt, which I really like with a horror character, especially the ones wearing a mask. But yeah, he's got some great expressions. He can look up just a little bit, and he can look just a little bit down, barely, but so he can't really get that looking down pose too much. And again, like I said, people have complained about the arms, but since they are kind of longer, you're able to get more posability out of them. If they were like these short, stubby arms, you really wouldn't be able to do too much with them. But yeah, you do have a cut right here at the shoulder, one at the elbow, and then the hands can kind of swivel around. And then the same with this arm here, and you can see this one has a grasping pose for holding a weapon. And then as far down to underneath the waist, there really isn't anything, nothing at the feet, legs, or waist at all. So that's pretty much all of his articulation. One of the best things about these old NECA figures is you get a tremendous amount of accessories, and the best one is no doubt this Good Guys box. It comes flat when you get it, and then you can just assemble it, and you just pop the lid on this, and it just works as like a regular box would. And then you can go ahead and put your Chucky figure inside of here, just like you see him like at a store or something for sale. And he fits in there just like that. So, pretty damn creepy. I really, really like the addition of this little box. Very cool accessory. If you look at the box, you can see a lot of different things on here. You can see those same type of patterns, some of the similar ones that you saw on his clothing, little pictures of him with doing different activities, and then it says he wants you for a best friend, and then on the back it has that classic Good Guys little picture here. It says, "Hi, I'm a good guy, let's play," and then some more designs on that side. So they're actually all different little pictures on each side. So very, very cool. Now besides this awesome box, you're going to get 3 weapons, and one is the baseball bat, which is a great little weapon. It's actually fairly large. This is pretty sturdy too. It's not that rubbery type material, it's like a harder plastic. Then you also get the classic Good Guys hammer. And you get his voodoo knife, which is basically his signature weapon from the older movies. And you could just simply put that in his right hand, and he seems to hold that pretty well. And again, you can get some pretty good poses with these arms, and when you pose them, I mean, it really doesn't look like he has the long arms anymore. So alright, so that's pretty much it for the regular Child's Play 3 Chucky. And then, you know, like I said, you could fit these different weapons in here, so whichever one you want to display him with. Take a look at the voodoo knife. You can see the skull and crossbones, and same pattern on the other side, so it's got some really nice details in there. So overall, I'm very happy with this Child's Play 3 Chucky figure. You know, considering how old this figure is now, it's amazing to see the details still were just perfect on NECA's part. The likeness is very good. The only improvements I would have liked to see is maybe some better articulation in the lower body, but that's pretty much expected from those older NECA figures. Nowadays they're doing the more ultimate figures, but back then they weren't all about that. So they were definitely about more of the paint and the likeness. So they're very good figures that it's amazing they can hold up this day and age. The only thing I would have liked to seen different is maybe for this head sculpt, maybe like that classic just Good Guys head sculpt, just like the happy face, because I think it would have looked really cool in this Good Guys box. Maybe if you displayed both Chuckies together, you can have like the regular Chucky in here with the more scary Chucky outside the box. So it's just an idea, but I think that would have been a really nice touch considering they added that box. But I believe in Child's Play 3 there's a scene where he's in the box and he scares somebody. So it definitely is from the movie. But anyway, yeah, very good figure, highly recommend it. So let me go ahead and get right into the next Chucky figure. Alright, so moving on to the next Chucky. Now this version is from the Seed of Chucky movie, but it's also pretty much the same version that was in The Bride of Chucky. Now this one has the body damage, and the face is kind of like scarred up, sewn together. You know, the eye is all kind of crazy looking, the hair is pretty crazy. This is a totally different version of Chucky. Now the body, it's pretty much using the same body that it used for the other one, which is understandable, but the head sculpt is completely different. These overalls are totally different. Even the striping on here isn't quite the same pattern, but as far as the tooling and the body, it's the same exact version as the last one. So let's get right into this face detail. So this head sculpt is amazing. I mean, I really, really like this. The amount of detail that they've got into this figure is just short of amazing. Like the scarring in here with the stitching and the different staples, just the cracks in here, this eye, you know, it's got kind of like, you could see the doll part of his face is kind of torn out, so the eye's kind of like hollowed out. The teeth are a little messed up, not quite as cute as the last one. And the stitching goes all underneath the chin and even into the neck. It is just amazing. You could see the hair is kind of like in here on the side, like kind of stapled in there. And then if you move the hair here, it's the same thing. Now these parts are not sculpted. These are actually the real fabric hair that's going through here, but the staple is kind of holding the hair down into it to his head. So the amount of detail is just amazing. I mean, I am extremely happy with this. I mean, and then to the hair, I mean, the hair is just perfect. It's got this kind of crunchy feel here. It's not real soft. You can see I'm pushing my finger up against it and it's not moving as easy, but it's really nice. It's got kind of like this almost hairsprayed feel to part of it, but just amazing job on NECA's part. Originally, I was really excited for this Child's Play 3 version, but now after having both versions, this is definitely the one to get. And then let's look at the rest of the outfit on him. So even though he's all scarred up and everything, there is parts of the outfit that are still pretty much intact, like the actual shirt. There isn't as much messed up on it, but you can still see little details right here with some different like staples holding the shirt kind of together. Not so much on here, but there's still a little bit of detail here. You can see there's a nice split in those overalls right here. And then if you move his arms out, you can see him even goes down all the way down here. So really good details. You still have those same little patterns like you did with the other Chucky. It's just there's weathered and detail all over here. You can see that says good on here, and the guys is kind of like ripped up just a little bit. And then to the back of the figure, you still see that same kind of detail with the stains actually in the pants this time. And then the overalls, the back of them are different. They're straight instead of crossed. So you can see they've really looked at these different movies comparing the two. And then the shoes are the only thing that really doesn't have much of anything. They're not dirty really. They just look like the regular shoes that he already had. And then you can see the scar has it's very prominent on his hand here. So very, very cool figure. Great details. Now, as far as articulation, everything is exactly the same as the last Chucky, so I'm not even going to bother going over the articulation. But if you want to see the different head tilt and stuff like that on him, you can. He's got really good range of motion. Anyway, now the accessories are the one thing that aren't quite as good with this one. Since it was from a Seed of Chucky box set, you kind of get a bunch of accessories that go with 3 different figures, including Tiffany. So I pretty much was sent whatever they could just assume would go with Chucky, which I think I got the best accessories anyway. The first is his butcher knife, which is just a kind of signature weapon for the classic, like Bride of Chucky all the way up to the more modern versions of Chucky, and that just pretty much fits right in his hand there, and he holds it pretty well. He's got good articulation in his arms. and he could pretty much wield it in some pretty scary poses. So fits really nicely in there. And then the second accessory that I got was this kind of medallion, and then on the back it has a scripture on here, and it's basically from when he tries to get inside of somebody else's body in the movie. So he always, pretty much every movie, he's trying to get into like someone else's physical body so he can kind of take it over and get out of this doll's body, but of course it never happens. But anyway, this is a real metal chain on here. There's a little red gem in the center with some really good details on here, and then again there's like some writing on the back, and this is basically the saying that he says all the time before he's trying to take possession of someone's body. So really pretty cool accessories, even though you only get a couple of them. They're very well made and perfect for the character. And also, one thing worth noting is, and I hate to bring this type of stuff up, but there is a little bit of QC issues that I've seen for the Chucky figures, particularly just in the arms. So be very, very careful with these arms. You can see mine's a little loose already, but I've seen some breakages in here, and I've watched some videos where people have actually breaking them right out of the box. So yeah, just be very, very careful with these arms. If you're like me, you're probably not even going to touch them too much, but yeah, definitely worth noting. So like all my reviews, I like to do some comparisons. So let's go ahead and do the first comparison, which is Chucky next to Chucky. And again, you can see the bodies are pretty much the same, but if you look at the striping on the shirts, you can see a difference here. There's also a little bit of a difference in the skin tone of the actual body of him, mainly in his hand, and it could be just because he's older now. And then in the back, you can see the striping is different, and also the different crossing on the back of the pants. And of course, the hair is much different on the Seed of Chucky version. It's a little more red, darker, and a little bit longer and thicker. So definitely some differences, and worth getting both of them if you really want different looks for Chucky. Now, for the most part, NECA's always tried to stay within a 7-inch scale. Now, with Chucky, he would be really small if he was in that same 7-inch scale as all the other NECA figures. The details would probably be a lot less, and it may not be quite as cool a figure. So here he is next to the 7-inch version of Jason from Part 3 movie. And he is bigger, but the head for Chucky is significantly bigger. And he would be probably more like down around this size. So yeah, they're not quite in scale. And if you do want to display Chucky with somebody just a little bit bigger than the 7-inch scale, I would recommend these Mego versions. They're 8-inch scale, and they scale pretty nice with them. A little bit bigger, but again, yeah, the head's still pretty big compared to the Jason and Freddy. But as far as the height, they look a lot better next to these guys. Personally, I think these scale best with these Gremlins. I mean, they look perfect scale together. The Gremlins were definitely smaller than a kid, and Chucky's about the size of a kid, so I think these look really good next to each other. I would recommend maybe displaying these in your 80s collection, especially next to Gizmo here and maybe some of the other creepy Gremlins. Alright, so that's my review. Overall, I'm extremely happy with these two. When I bought this lot, I was really looking forward to one of the other figures that I'm going to review. I don't want to give it away yet. But after really looking through all these figures, these two were really the standout ones. Just amazing sculpts, especially like this kind of battle-damaged Seed of Chucky version. And honestly, I haven't really been that big on the other versions. I did like the Movie Maniacs version at one time, but didn't really feel like the sculpt was really that accurate of the character. And I really don't think the Mezco one's really that accurate either. They're more stylized. So I like the more realistic approach and the more movie accurate likenesses that NECA goes for, and I think they really did a good job with these figures. You could find these on eBay and maybe some different toy shows, but they are very hard to get, especially the Seed of Chucky. He comes in a box set, so you might have to buy 3 figures just to get him. If you're lucky enough, you might see him in a lot, And yeah, stay tuned for some of my other reviews coming. I'll be reviewing at least one or two more of the figures from this classic NECA lot. So until next time, please subscribe, comment, like the video, and see you guys.